We're going the other way on US 11. Come on, let's go. Alright everyone, today we're doing the southbound portion of US Highway 11. Basically US 11 all the way from up at the Canada border all the way down to US 98, just east of New Orleans. So we're going to be going through all the states that we have been through, going through some beautiful towns and scenery in the mountains. And today I'm going to be showing you a couple of downtowns along US 11's route. So let's get started with US 11.
If you've been enjoying my highways content or any of my other content, be sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button so you're notified of all my future highways videos. And guess what? I'm now open to extra requests. All of the future highways I'm going to be doing are listed down in the description below. So if you want any extra requests for the future highways, be sure to look down in the description and put your request down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to shout you out. Let's get started with the highway.
As you can see here, just like last time, US 11 begins all the way down here in New Orleans at a junction with US 90. Goes to the states of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York. This time we're going to be starting all the way up here at the Canada border and working our way southbound all the way down to US 90. So with that, we're going to be talking about southbound US 11. So US 11 begins here at the Canada border up here in upstate New York, and we can see just in the distance we have a Welcome to New York sign. And our first junction in New York is US Highway 2, or the eastern section of US 2, and it takes us to Interstate 89 and Vermont, while US 11 takes us to Interstate 87. And before we meet Interstate 87, we're first meeting US Highway 9, which is signed for Champlain and Plattsburgh, while we're signed for Malone. Here I'm meeting Interstate 87. And I jumped ahead to Malone where I'm meeting New York Highway 37. And you can take New York 37 to parallel the St. Lawrence River, or you can stay on US 11 and travel through some beautiful snow scenery here. Here's some beautiful snow scenery up here in upstate New York. And our first intersection request is made by Sponge Tracks. He wanted to see New York Highway 56 because it's one of his local roads that he takes all the time. So thank you for suggesting this junction. Now we're skipping all the way down to Watertown. We're meeting Interstate 781, which takes us over to Interstate 81. And US 11 is signed for downtown Watertown. Here are meeting the southern terminus of New York 37. And now we're meeting Interstate 81 for the first time. So I jumped all the way down to Syracuse because there wasn't really any major intersections between Watertown and Syracuse. Now we're meeting Interstate 481 and New York 481. Here is downtown Syracuse. Looks like an alright downtown. And just south of Syracuse, we're meeting US Highway 20. And now we jumped all the way down to Binghamton, and we're now meeting Interstate 81, which takes us to Interstate 88. Here in downtown Binghamton, we just get nothing for US 11 and New York Highway 7. Why New York? And shortly after, we're entering into the state of Pennsylvania, which Pennsylvania actually does okay on US 11. Our first major junction in Pennsylvania is US Highway 6. And once we get to the Scranton area, US 6 leaves in US Highway 11 to head towards Binghamton and Wilkes-Barre and Carbondale. Here is a business Highway 6 exit, and US 11 is now turning south into the Scranton Expressway. Here is a cool mural of Scranton. And here is downtown Scranton, which I did not show going northbound. Instead, I showed that little paper company in Scranton. And once we exit out of Scranton, we actually pass through some beautiful scenery over here in the Appalachian Mountains. Here's some more beautiful scenery as we head towards Bloomberg and Interstate 80. And here we go, we're meeting the dreadful Interstate 80. Why is Pennsylvania beating on Interstate 80? These are bad control cities. These should be State College westbound 80 and East 80 for New York City. Bloomsburg was fine for US 11, but you could also put Harrisburg on there. Now we're meeting Pennsylvania Highway 54 in Danville, which takes us back over to Interstate 80. And here's some more beautiful scenery as we're still in the Appalachian Mountains. Here in Northumberland, Quarter March 437 actually wanted to see this direction of the PA 405 US 11 junction, and not the other direction I showed in the northbound US 11. Can you point to me where Point, Pennsylvania is, please? Now we're meeting US Highway 15, which takes us over to Pennsylvania 61, but it looks like Pennsylvania has made a mistake and accidentally made it US 61. So this is both an error and actually true, because if you stay on US 11, you'll eventually meet a US highway that takes you over to US 61, which is US 64 all the way down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And here is US 11 and 15 splitting off from US 522, as 522 is heading south to Selinsgrove while we're heading towards Harrisburg, which is absolutely correct. On our way to Harrisburg, we're meeting US 322 and US 22, which is abysmal sign for Lewiston. That should be State College. And now we're meeting Interstate 81, which is signed north for Harrisburg, and 81 should not be signed south for Carlisle. We all know that should be Roanoke. Here's a beautiful view of downtown Harrisburg across the Susquehanna River. And now we're splitting off from US 15 to head towards Interstate 81 and Pennsylvania 581, and we're signed south for Carlisle, which is absolutely correct. And on Pennsylvania 581, we don't get an overhead sign, we just get this sign to the right, and US 11 is just signed for the Carlisle Pike. Why not put a city for US 11 Pennsylvania? Why? Here in Carlisle, we're meeting Interstate 81 once again, and it's signed north for Harrisburg and south for Chambersburg. Again, that should be Roanoke. Why Pennsylvania? We're also meeting the Pennsylvania Turnpike here in Carlisle. Here in Chambersburg, we're meeting US Highway 30. And this is in Greencastle. We get a mileage sign, state line 5 miles away in Hagerstown 11. Here are entering into Pennsylvania and crossing over the Mason-Dixon line. Here in Hagerstown, we're meeting US Highway 40. And we're meeting Interstate 81 once again, which gets the good control cities of Roanoke and Harrisburg. Why can't Pennsylvania do that? Here we're crossing over the Potomac into West Virginia. We actually get a welcome to West Virginia on the other side of the Potomac. And our first mileage sign in West Virginia, we just get Falling Waters, which is 2 miles away from this junction. Why West Virginia? Falling Waters is an unincorporated community. You should sign Martinsburg and Winchester, or I don't know, this Martinsburg, Winchester, and Harrisonburg, not Falling Waters. Ugh. Now we're meeting West Virginia Highway 9 in Martinsburg, and here we get a cool view of downtown Martinsburg. And shortly after, we enter into the state of Virginia. So let's go Virginia. In our first mileage sign in Virginia, we just get Winchester, which is 9 miles away. Again, why is Virginia following West Virginia's idea? You should have 3 cities on there. Should this be mileage sign? Winchester 9 miles away, Strasburg 26, and Harrisonburg 72. Ugh. Here in Winchester, we're meeting Virginia Highway 37, which takes you to US 522 and US 50. US 11 is going to be heading towards Winchester Business and downtown Winchester. Here is US 522 joining US 11 to head through downtown Winchester. Now US 50 is joining the party. And here is US 50, 17, and 522 all leaving US 11, as US 11 is now heading south towards Strasburg and Harrisonburg. And this is on Virginia 37 itself, instead of those 2 towns I just mentioned. US 11 gets signed south for Stevens City. Why Virginia? Here in Stevens City, we get a mileage sign. Middletown is 5 miles away, Strasburg is 11, and we get Stanton on the bottom line, which is 83 miles away. I get Stanton because you meet US 250 there, so that works. Plus Roanoke is probably still too far away to sign anyways. Here in Strasburg, we're meeting Virginia Highway 55, which takes you over to US 48, or we like to call it US 48 cubed. Here in downtown Harrisonburg, we're meeting US Highway 33. And here in Stanton, we're meeting US 250 and Virginia Highway 254. Once we leave the Stanton area, we get another mileage sign, Mintspring on the top one at 4 miles away, then Greenville at 9, and Steele's Tavern at 15. Who's heard of Steele's Tavern, Virginia? Also, I looked it up. Steele's Tavern, Virginia is a unincorporated community. Why, Virginia? What's the deal with you signing unincorporated communities on US 11? But here in Steele's Tavern, we get another mileage sign, and Roanoke is on the bottom line at 69 miles away. At least that's better. Where was Roanoke on the previous sign? Here in Lexington, we're meeting Interstate 64, which is signed westward Charleston and eastward Stanton. That should be Richmond. Here we're meeting US Highway 60 in Lexington. And we jumped all the way down to the Roanoke area, and we're meeting US Highway 460. And US 221 is now going to be joining US 11 to head towards downtown Roanoke. Here in downtown Roanoke, where US 11 is passing close by to this transportation museum. And if you like any deal of transportation vehicles, then this place is for you. I've personally never been, but if you like trains or cars and trucks and stuff, then I recommend you checking this out. Here in Roanoke, US 11 gets this cool shield. Honestly, I think it could lose the white background to make it even cooler. And here in Salem, we're reuniting with US 460, and 460 and US 11 are going to be traveling together to Christiansburg. Here in Christiansburg, US 460 is leaving US 11, and US 11 takes you to Bristol and Interstate 81. Here joining Interstate 81 in the Appalachian Mountains. And here's Interstate 77 now joining 81 and US 11. And here's US 52 joining the trios of highways. And take one last look at this wrong way concurrency, because unless a Control City Freak ever does a US 11 series, this is the last time you'll probably ever see this wrong way concurrency. And here's US 11 splitting off from US 52, Interstate 77 and 81 to head south towards Whitville. And when we get outside of Whitville, we have passed by this monstrosity. It looks like someone tried combining the Virginia State Highway Shield with a US Highway Shield to make it look like it's a ghost shield, so it's a ghost of US 11's past. Here in one of these small towns in Virginia, we're passing right by Virginia Highway 16, not US 16. By the way, I'm going to be showing this in my error shield video and be making a fun joke about that. And now we're meeting US Highway 58 as we pass through here in one of these small towns. Now as US 58 is now joining Interstate 81 to have a concurrency towards Bristol. And now we're meeting US Highway 19, and US 19 is going to be joining the rest of US 11's journey here in Virginia. And guess what US 19 is? Hey, I know this highway. US 19 is a US highway route that is 1,438 miles long. It travels to the states of Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. It basically connects the cities of Tampa, Florida to Erie, Pennsylvania. My two good friends, the Xavier 456 and Quartermunch 437. Quartermunch is currently making his own US 19 series, while the Xavier 456 has made his own Pennsylvania version of US 19. I recommend you checking it out. US 19 is also one of the 9 US highways to split in E and W. It also has 3 of its own child routes, 119, 219, and 319. Some of the concurrencies include US 11, 41, 90, 119, 129, and 460, Interstates 26, 40, 64, 70, 80, and 90. So that's a little bit about US 19. And we jumped onto the Interstate 381 junction, where we're now splitting off into US 11E and US 11W. Today we're going to be talking about the US 11W portion because I already covered the US 11E in my northbound video. Here is US 421 splitting off from US 11W to head towards Interstate 81. And shortly after that junction, we're entering into the state of Tennessee. And here's this cool scenery view of Interstate 81 all the way out in the distance and those rolling hills. And now we're meeting Interstate 81, which is signed south for Knoxville, and north for Roanoke, which is absolutely correct. Let's see. And now we jumped ahead to Kingsport, we're meeting Interstate 26 and US Highway 23. I jumped ahead to Bean Station, Tennessee, where we're going to be joining US 25E North, and we're signed for Tazewell and Rutledge. Where's Knoxville on this sign? We need Knoxville. And we also meet 25E, which is signed south for Morristown. And here's US 11W splitting off from 25E. And we're finally now signed south for Rutledge and Knoxville, while 25E is signed north for Tazewell. Here in the Knoxville area, we have no direct access to Interstate 640 and 25W. Now we're meeting Interstate 40 right before we merge back into US 11. And here's the view as we merge right back into US 11. And as US 11 heads through downtown Knoxville, we actually meet US 129 on the other side of Knoxville. And here we meet Interstate 140, which is signed for Maryville and Oak Ridge. And here's US 11 splitting off from US Highway 70, as US 11 is now heading south towards Chattanooga and Cleveland. But instead of the two towns I mentioned earlier, we just get Lenore City, which is 6 miles away. Why, Tennessee? I thought you're not doing this. This is what this mileage sign should be. Have Cleveland on that bottom line at 60 miles away. I don't care where you put the top two towns. Just have Cleveland somewhere. But here in Loudon, Tennessee, we get another 1 city mileage sign, and we get Sweetwater, which is 11 miles away. Again, this should be Cleveland and Chattanooga, not Sweetwater alone. Here in Cleveland, Tennessee, we're reuniting with US 64, and US 11 and 64 are going to be heading with each other towards downtown Chattanooga. I skipped the 64 US 11 concurrency because I already covered it in my 64 videos, so if you want to check that out, it's in the top right corner over here. But here's US 11 splitting off from US 41, 64, and 72. And shortly after that, we enter into the state of Georgia. Here I'm meeting Georgia Highway 299 once again, which takes you over to Interstate 24 and 59. Here in Trenton, Georgia, at this intersection, US 11 is now signed south for Fort Payne, which at first I disagreed with, but then I looked at the map, and Fort Payne is the only sizable town that US 11 passes through before you hit Gadsden and Birmingham. So I agree with Fort Payne. And shortly after, we're entering into the state of Alabama. Honestly, I do agree with people that this state sign looks a lot better than what they usually have on other highways. And our first major junction in Alabama is Interstate 59. And here in Fort Payne, we're meeting Alabama Highway 35, which actually takes you over to a couple of state parks, so that's cool. Here in the Gadsden metro area, we're meeting US 278 and US 431. And US 11 is south for Birmingham and Trussville. Here in the Trussville area, we're meeting Interstate 459. And US 11 is now heading south towards downtown Birmingham. Right before we hit downtown Birmingham, we're meeting Interstate 20, which gets the good control city east of Atlanta and so of west for Tuscaloosa. We have no direct access to US 280 here right before entering into downtown Birmingham. And here's a cool view of downtown Birmingham. And here's US 78 splitting off from US 11 after joining us, going through downtown Birmingham. Here in Bessemer, US 11 is now going to be joining Interstate 20 and 59. And here's where US 11 splits off from Interstates 20 and 59. At exit 97, which is signed south for West Blockton and Centerville. Guess where US 11 goes to? We don't know because it's not mentioned anywhere on that sign. Instead, we get two control cities for Alabama State Highway 5. We should put something on US 11, so I'm gonna fix it. Boom. West Blockton and Cottondale. Even though no one knows where Cottondale, Alabama is, it's on US 11's route. Now we're entering into Tuscaloosa and we're meeting US Highway 82, which is signed east for Montgomery and west for Columbus, Mississippi. And here's the beginning of Interstate 359, and we're meeting Interstate 20 and 59. And we're signing south/north for Tuscaloosa. And here is the end of Interstate 359, and US 11 is going to be joining US 43 to head south towards Stillman College. Where's US 11 going from here? This is all the way out in Utah, Alabama, and US 11 is splitting off from US 43. And now we're meeting US 80 close to the Alabama and Mississippi border. And here we are entering into the state of Mississippi, and we get no Welcome to Mississippi sign. Instead we get just Lauderdale County. I skipped ahead to the Meridian area, and here in Meridian we get no access to US Highway 45. And now we're joining Interstate 59 and 20 here in Meridian. And this is where US 11 leaves Interstate 59, 20, and US 80 to head south towards Philadelphia and the Meridian Airport. And once we exit the Meridian area, we get a mileage sign. Laurel is on the bottom line at 39 miles away. This is where Laurel belongs, on US 11, not Interstate 59, Mississippi. And I skipped all the way down to Hattiesburg, where we meet US Highway 49, which is signed north for Jackson. And there's a sign up ahead where US 49 is signed south for Gulfport. So why does US 49 get the good control cities here in Mississippi, and the interstates suffer badly? Here at the Mississippi and Louisiana border, we're joining Interstate 59 to cross the border. Here's the Welcome to Louisiana sign, and up ahead we get a mileage sign for Interstate 59. And here's US 11 splitting off from Interstate 59 to head south towards Pearl River. Honestly, you could put Slidell on that sign and not Pearl River, because that's where US 11 is going towards, Slidell. And on our way to Slidell, we get this awesome sign of St. Joe. Here in Slidell, we get the abysmal control cities for Interstate 12. 12 West should be for Baton Rouge, and 12 East should be for Gulfport or Biloxi, not Bay St. Louis and Hammond. Now we're meeting US Highway 190 before we cross over Lake Pontchartrain. Now we're crossing over Lake Pontchartrain to head towards the bayous of Louisiana. And on the other side of the lake, we're meeting Interstate 10, which gets no control cities for some reason. That should be New Orleans. Shortly after meeting Interstate 10, we meet US 90 here at the southern terminus of US Highway 11. And US 90 gets the good control cities of Gulfport and New Orleans, while the interstate system of Louisiana is hung out to dry. So with that, we're going to be talking about the TheDerpHog's the way it should be for US 11 southbound. So I believe it should be on US 11 southbound and US 11W. First I would start with Champlain, then Malone, then Potsdam, then Watertown, then Pulaski, then Syracuse, then Cortland to differentiate from Interstate 81, then Binghamton, then Factoryville because of US 6, even though Factoryville is a small town, then Scranton, then Bloomsburg, then Selinsgrove because of US 522, then Harrisburg, then Carlisle, then Chambersburg, then Hagerstown, then Martinsburg, then Winchester, then Harrisonburg because of US 33, then Lexington, then Roanoke, then Christiansburg, then Wytheville, then Abington, then Bristol, and this is where US 11 splits off into 11W. And for 11W, I do Kingsport and Breeden Station, and then once US 11 remerge backs into US 11, then I'll do Knoxville, then Athens, then Cleveland, then Chattanooga, then Fort Payne. So like I said earlier, Fort Payne is the only sizable city between Chattanooga and Gadsden. Then Gadsden, then Birmingham, then Bessemer, then Tuscaloosa, then Utah, then Meridian, then Laurel, then Hattiesburg, then Pequane, then Slidell, and finally New Orleans, because I bet most people will be angling towards that way than Gulfport. And that ends US 11. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of US Highway 11. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about US 11 and how badly signed it is in Tennessee with its mileage signs. Because I certainly did. So my next couple of projects after this is an air shields video. And after that, I'm going to be doing just one here in North Carolina and Virginia. And then after that, I'm going to be doing the winner of Super Bowl 58. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.